Hello, hello, and welcome. I'm deviating from the typical jabbering at you to kind of share a bit about our property. I woke up this morning and I'm doing the heart chakra right now for the 30 days of moon magic. So the PDFs and everything are related to our heart space. And really what that means as far as for our own heart space, of oftentimes we're always looking at the heart chakra of extending outwards, but for this month I'm really focusing on what is near and dear to my own heart. And so as you can see, this is the outside of the apothecary that I've been doing the Facebook Lives in. There's a big pile right here. This is all the slab wood that is going to go on the siding, so it's going to get much darker in there. I'm also lining the walls with wool. So I'm starting off over here. I'm going to flip my screen around. So this is my tent that I've been doing my my week in rest in. This is my Empress Bell tent, and I'll show you. The kids and I had a sleepover in it last night, and it is an absolute mess. So we've been making collages. So it's still a storage room for my canning jars and my vending stuff. But there's a kitty and a puppy slept in here last night with us. So, do you want to cover? Skyan doesn't have clothes on. So, but here's Zion's little collage that he's working on. And I've got the massage tables in here now. So it's let's wait to do that with all the mess in here. Zion and I have been playing ball in here each day. So it's become a resting, play, crafting space. And one of our only places that actually has a floor. So there we go. There's Skyan over there.
And I was wearing shorts.
She was wearing shorts. She just wasn't fully dressed, which, who needs to be dressed when you live on 22 acres? So we're working on collages today. And so we definitely have little piles of things that were just a mess. So more canning stuff. I've got so many canning jars. Those are all going to go in the apothecary eventually. All this slab wood is actually going to go horizontally, I guess. Travis is still figuring that one out. But I got my little steps here. Here's my apothecary with all of my... Hey, Denise! With all of my herbs. I'm always kind of working on something or getting, tinctures out, and that way I've got them. I always have little things in the works and in the process of being made. But I'm able to really store finally a place vertically that I can store all of our books, all of my kind of office stuff. I can keep my vending stuff all together. So I'm actually doing a project. So it's kind of hard to see, but this was just Tyvek here, just like it is up there. And I'm taking wool coats and I'm lining the back of my shelves, and that way light, and it'll kind of help temperature regulate. So I'm still working on that. So I realize I don't usually show what's happening on the property very much. So I wanted to kind of just give an update. We've got lots of building materials everywhere, and that's just going to be an ongoing project. But here is our wood box that Travis just built the other day. And it's lasted 2 pretty big storms already, and the wood's staying dry. So he goes through so much wood, and these are all just kind of remnants that we finally have them in a space. We've got another wood box here that's right outside the house for storing the wood. And then on this side of the house, we have the bunny and chicken coop. So the bunnies are in here all day. They're resting under there. Let's see if I can They're resting under that little chicken coop right there, hanging out in the shade. And the chickens are around here somewhere. But so this morning when I woke up, I'm taking you over to the garden. So I woke up and I was just looking around, and I looked at the garden and I started crying in just gratitude. I was so thankful to see the amount of produce that is coming up in the garden, for the abundance of this land, for how incredibly grateful I am, and realizing that this is where my heart is. Like, my heart is really in being sustainable, and this has been a mission that Travis and I have been on since we got together 13 years ago, of creating sustainable living for ourselves and our children and our generations to come. And so I'm going to flip this around so you can see our garden, seeing our garden absolutely flourishing in the fact of all these squashes. We've got spaghetti squash and butternut squash and zucchinis, and let's see, there's some more over here. We've got kale and eggplant coming up, and just squash after squash, and it's just tumbling down into the yard over there. And we've got all of this abundance. We've got some corn coming up, and our peas aren't doing great. I lost a lot of our tomatoes, but it's so just incredible to see what is thriving. We've got these little baby watermelons coming up right now. We've got probably 7 or 8 watermelons now. This is our biggest watermelon so far, and another little baby. And just this garden has really spoken to my heart. I'm just so incredibly grateful for the amount of abundance that is coming out of this. We've got a butternut squash growing right there, some spaghetti squash growing in there. We've got zucchinis in there. Hi, Leandra. Good morning. Sophia, yay, I'm so grateful you're able to join in again. And so just, it goes on and on. We've got probably 8 to 10 squash growing in over here. And then just the wild foods that are growing here. We've got sumacs. We've got persimmons growing. Let me take you over to our persimmon tree. We've got persimmons growing over here. We've got wild plums growing in another space. And I'm just so, my heart is so full. My heart is overwhelmingly full. And the whole saying of home is where the heart is really has always been a little confusing to me, because I grew up in a city. I grew up in Burbank, California, in Southern California, and the city was never home to me. I never felt like I fit in. I definitely did not fit in. I was not a city person. The values and things that people strove for just didn't feed my soul nor my heart. And so when people would say home is where the heart is, my heart was not where my home was. And so I moved to a small mountain community, and it got a little bit closer to where home was. And then we started off on the road, and we really wandered, lost for 3.5 years of going, where is home? And what does that mean? And if home isn't where the heart is, then where do we belong? And so if you're not feeling at home, if home is not where your heart is, I'd love to just create some conversation about where this idea comes from. Good morning, Jennifer. And this aspect of where is the heart of things. Yesterday I talked about like the matters of the heart, and this aspect of where the home is where the heart is. I felt so overwhelmed with gratitude this morning, really knowing deeply that I have found home. I found a place that is sustainable in and of itself. I found a home that has ample space for my children and potentially grandchildren and other families, and just creating this space that I've always desired to create, and creating fun and memories and laughter, and it just means so much. So I would love for you to look around your own home and to see it with just a wide open heart today of what are you so in gratitude for. And if your home is not where your heart is, allow for that to be something that opens up within you, that you really do find where home is. It took Travis and I quite a long time and 6 different properties and buying and selling and trying in trailers and buses and over again to find where home is. And looking at that garden, and the chickens were in the garden the other day getting all the bugs out of it, and it fueled my heart in a way that I didn't know was possible. And I just was so overwhelmed with how grateful I truly am for this space, for a home. And you don't realize kind of what you're missing until you find it sometimes. And so as we go forward in this heart space and looking at what is around us, ask yourself, is my heart missing something? Am I home? Have I found the place I want to be? And the kids and I are doing collages this morning, and I'm picking out all of these things to now decorate my home with and to beautify this space with. And it is slow going. Travis is making everything on his own, and the only one building really. We help him, but he's the only one doing it. So it is very exciting. So the house needs a second part of the roof. So I'll take you over there. It's a mess, but you know, that's what construction zones sometimes are. So here's the side of the house. We've got our river stuff. This is our wood pile that all needs to be cut up and trimmed. Oh, the chickens are back in their coop. So here's all of our wood. This was a massive pile of wood, and now we're down to just a few pieces. So here's our little chicken buddies. Got some Austerlop ladies and a frizzle rooster. He has a hard time keeping up with them sometimes. And so we got our little lettuce garden here. He's excited this morning. And so here is the house. We only have one side. We only have one side roofed right now. So we're kind of storing a lot of stuff under this side just so it stays out of the rain. Not that that's where it goes, but we're kind of limited on outside space. So Travis is going to make this wall connect here with the second half of the roof, and then this whole building space will be roofed, and Travis will be able to create kind of like a workshop in there to get the rest of it built. The sandbags, we are going to be putting clay, it's called cob, it's clay, sand, and straw, and we're actually going to mud those bags. So come back here, and this is the side wall. We've got our windows that are going to go in there. This is a cool little generator box. It definitely helps with the sound aspect. When we're building, our solar is not enough to actually build with, so power tools and stuff like that. Travis did start the siding on the house here just to kind of see what it's gonna look like. And then this is our rain catch. So this is the rain catch. This is really for like gardening and things like that. We get our water from our spring down at the bottom of the property. So it's, like I said, it's a little bit of a mess. There's Travis's shed. He's actually been clearing a lot of it out. So it's always a work in progress. But tools and augers and electric line, and there's just so much stuff that is needed all the time. We've got our mowers over there. We're getting a space. So to give you perspective, the tent is over here, apothecary's right here, the house is here, and then the bus is going to be moved into this empty space right here. So we've been spending the time kind of getting this space cleared out, and then the water tank that we fill up from our spring is gonna go in this space. And then we've got over here the kids walking around getting all the spider webs. And then this is the kids' fort area. They've got rope ladders up to their fort and hammocks up there and the trampoline. And Zion just added this piece of plywood to play ball against. So there's a bit of a tour. I haven't done a tour in quite some time. Oh, well, let me continue on with the tour. I totally love seeing like-minded people. Lots of love. Yay! So here's our solar panels. And Zion's been doing lots of archery lately, so he set up his archery stuff. There's our giant burn pile that we will get to eventually when we get some rain again. But apple trees and pear trees and our compost over there that the chickens finally found. And here's our wild, what's called a native garden. So it's got a lot of native weeds going up in it. But there is, I purposely bought a bunch of native plants and planted them here. And then, of course, all sorts of things seem to come up in its place. But it's neat that some stuff that I've planted have really taken off and created space for themselves and are hunkering down. So it's very fun to see that all these little wild plants are coming up, and it's very fun. So there's some new things in here all the time, so I'm always having to like come in here and find out, what is this, and did I plant it on purpose, or is it just native from what the native garden is doing? Amanda, yeah, I know, it's so amazing. So hi, love niece. Hi, Missy. And so I just wanted to kind of share where my heart is right now, and I'm just absolutely loving every moment of being able to create space here. And this is I'll show you a little bit more of our garden. This is our second round of potatoes. I did them only one tire high last time. I do line them with like a sheet in there, but I know there's going to be some leaching, but I haven't figured out how to do potatoes any other way. So I'll end this with a little bit of just sharing again the abundance of the garden, and this has just been really so profoundly amazing to me. Oh, look at my, they grabbed my asparagus. But we've got some asparagus going on, and these little tendrils are gonna anchor to it. It's a little bit stronger than that. But here's some of those squashes. Squashes are so nice You know, they just produce so much food. So potatoes in a milk crate. Ooh, good idea. Yeah, that's a great idea. Looks like you've been busy. Yes, yes, indeed. So thank you, my beautiful friends. Thank you for being here with me, and as I ramble on about my journey, and I'm grateful that it's a chance for us to connect. So I will see you all tomorrow. Have such a beautiful and blessed day.